day to day you can get on with your work and you can talk about work. But outside of that, what are you like as a person? So my name's Helen Lam, and I work for a company called Marsh. So Marsh are in the insurance sector. My job title is Head of Social Impact for Marsh UK and Ireland. Some of you might have heard the terminology corporate social responsibility, so it's very similar to that. And basically my job it's a fantastic job, and it's basically ensuring that the company is giving back to the local community. So day to day I will manage charity partnerships, so we work with various charities across the UK, so I'll manage the selection and the coordination of those charities, as well as employee engagement, so encouraging our colleagues to go out and to volunteer and to understand our communities more. As well as that, anything else that anyone thinks, kind of is under corporate social responsibility. So it could be working with local schools, developing reading programs, helping host visits to our office. So yeah, it's a really vibrant, exciting and different role. But yeah, I love it. So kind of entering the corporate world in my current role was a bit of an accident, really. I didn't really plan to go into kind of CSR or social impact. I wasn't even sure what it was. If you ask my mum and my family, they still don't think it's a real job, because they're like, oh, that sounds quite cool. And I never thought it was an area. I actually graduated in events management and arts management. So at college, I did actually performing arts. So I did a BTEC National Diploma in Performing Arts and thought, oh, I love this. This is really fun. I love dancing. And actually, when it came to going to university, I thought, I probably don't love dance as much as I should, because it is very competitive and you really have to love it. And I just wasn't there yet. So I decided to do something a bit different at university, and actually ended up down the events route for quite a long time. So I did events for about 8 years and then really loved it and really enjoyed it. But events, for people working it or people looking to go into it, is very long hours, and it can be quite infrequent, the work, because a lot of the time you're freelancing, so you're going from kind of contract to contract. So I did that for a while, working on some fantastic events like the London 2012 Games and the Glasgow Commonwealth Games, really fantastic events. And then when it got to a point where I didn't have my next kind of contract, I was like, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here. And then actually it was through a friend who worked at Marsh, who was looking for someone to work in the kind of corporate social responsibility space. And I wasn't really sure, because I looked at the job spec and I thought, I don't know if I can do a lot of this. My experience is completely different. I'm coming from another sector. So I'd essentially be changing careers. So I was a bit unsure about that. It was a bit of a scary move, but I thought, I'll do it for a couple of years and then I'll kind of work out my next move. So it wasn't really in the plan. But then, I started there and I loved it. And then 6 years on, kind of, I'm still there. So yeah, it was a good move, and I'm glad I did. And I think going forward, I think this will be my kind of career. I don't think I'll change again, because I feel like I found a job that I really love. So like I said, I was born and bred in East London, so Stratford to be kind of specific. So I grew up in kind of the Stratford area, and that's gone through lots of changes. I went to primary school, Manor Primary, I still remember, and then secondary school, I went to an all-girls school called Sarah Brunel, and then Stage, because I loved it so much. I also went to college in East London as well, so I went to Newham Sixth Form College. So I'm very familiar with the local area. My schooling was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I think going to college was really interesting for me, because going from an all-girls school, kind of transitioning to a college setting was quite difficult and challenging, but something I really enjoyed. I started my first job at college as well, so I worked for a sports retailer about when I was 16, and I remember being really excited about that, because that was my first job. And I remember my first pay slip was like £140, and I was so excited. I went to the bank ecstatic that I'd earned this money, and I think the first thing I bought was like a pair of shoes or something like that. But yeah, so yeah, I really loved growing up in East London, and it's great that I'm kind of still within the local area as well. So I got my kind of first kind of full-time job through volunteering. So I was always interested in my local community and what they were up to. So I lived in the London Borough of Newham. So what I did was I went to the council website and looked at volunteering programs that they'd run and how I could volunteer in my local community. So I signed up with something they were doing. And that's kind of how I got my first job, because I started kind of volunteering at council-run events, so at libraries, parks, town halls, that kind of thing. And then actually just kind of networking, talking to people really helps, because then that led to some work experience over the summer. And then when I did kind of graduate, they offered me a full-time role as an events officer. I think if you look at the kind of insurance kind of as a whole, it is more kind of male dominated, maybe white male, because of how it started. But I think it's definitely getting better now. When I look around, I see more women, more different ethnic groups appearing. I most certainly didn't, envisage myself working for an insurance company. I never would have thought that. So, I feel really proud when I'm sat there and I'm, in a meeting room. If I'm the only kind of ethnic minority there, that's something I'm really proud of. And I think you should definitely embrace kind of what's different about you. So growing up, I didn't really see myself as different. And I think somewhere along the way, maybe I felt that I was different, and I thought, I don't know if I really belong here. No one said anything, but I think it's something inside you that just gives you this insecurity. And so for a long time, I'd walk around work and be like, I'm not sure if I fit in here. But now I absolutely feel like I do. And that's a lot to do with the culture inside the business as well, how people talk to you, how people respect you. Your views are very well respected. People talk to you just like you're a human being. So it doesn't really matter kind of where you're from, or it's all about the relationships you build. So I would say kind of embrace what's different about you. Don't be fearful because you think you're not confident enough, or you're not from a certain background, or you don't have a family who's worked in there, or you don't know anyone who's worked in the city. It really doesn't matter. I know, I knew no one in the city. I just kind of went in blanket. So anyone can do it. If you put your mind to it, you'll find your way in. I think the early years kind of framework where we're always kind of reviewing and trying to make better. So like you've mentioned previously, we've worked with organisations like the brokerage to provide work experience opportunities throughout the summer, 6-week and 9-week courses. We also have a very vibrant apprenticeship programme, which is fantastic, which runs across the UK. We have apprenticeships at our London office, Norwich, kind of right across the UK, and then we have our graduates programme as well. So lots of ways for young people to kind of tap into the business, to find out more, but we're also kind of willing throughout the year to take on ad hoc work experience requests. So if you've thought, I want to work in that blue building, or I want to find out what Marsh is about, then feel free to kind of get in touch. We do place young people into positions throughout the year. I think have a plan, but plan for that to maybe change is what I certainly found within my career. Me changing career was never part of the plan, but actually when it came up, I was like, yeah, why not? I'll give it a go. And I think it's just being flexible with that, like have a plan in mind, but sometimes it doesn't always work out. And if it does change, then don't be scared of that, because actually it can work out for the better. And that's what's happened to me. So yeah, don't be afraid of change.